Hey, welcome back to Strictly Baseball right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports. The Quakers back in action coming up on Friday as they begin HCAC play for the first time this year. By the way, Wednesday's game against Grace has been postponed. We'll talk about that coming up in just a few moments. Back with head coach Steve SAKOSITS for another week. The Quakers, by the way, coming off a tough loss against Heidelberg in their last contest. You will now go how many days before you play again, since Wednesday's game has been postponed and you don't play till Friday?
So let's see. We've been Wednesday the previous week to Thursday. So
yeah.
A little over a week on that part of it. But we were able to actually get outside yesterday, and every pitcher threw an inning. We're going to do that again on Wednesday as well. So we're doing some inter-squad stuff with us being able to have the weather and the field that we have. We're able to get out and do more. So though, Marion and Grace had to move their conference game from today to tomorrow, which pushed us, we'll still be able to get some work on and get ready for Bluffton on the weekend or on Friday.
Hard to believe the conference season is here. We've documented it so many times. The change now in the conference season where you're not playing as many games, but another team now gets in. You told me one time, I asked you how you're going to like it. You said, let's wait and see how it turns out. Is that still kind of the case for you right now?
We would have already played 2 midweeks and a conference weekend in the old schedule. So right. It's almost, we've been waiting to get into these games. We've had a lot of non-conference games so far, had some success in that, but we're ready to go play somebody. Yeah. With the doubleheader in the one day, you got to have a good day to be able to be in this thing at the end. And so, we're going to take a game at a time and go out there and go ahead and take on the Beavers here on Friday.
Getting ready for what I thought was going to be a Wednesday contest, and baseball's such a game of statistics and such, and so I started looking through your first 11 games, your road trip, your game back, and from a hitting standpoint, I think the pitching is still pretty much there, but the hitting isn't quite where you want it to be at this stage, where it was anyway.
And we knew that was going to be the weaker point right now of the team. Is just offensively, we graduated so many guys, so you've got other guys that have to step up, and on the pitching side and on the defensive side, that's where we have to butter our bread. That's the place where we're going to be our best, and offensively, just got to get on base. We'll run, and we've done that. We've already ran. I think we're running at a clip higher than we ran last year maybe, but it's just the offensive side of things. We got to get on base any way we can, the strikeouts a little bit too high for me. I want us to cut those down a little bit, but we go live on Friday, so it's all about what we do there. And if we can still pitch it well and play defense, we're going to be every single game. That Heidelberg was a 6-5 game. We were a swing here or there away from winning that ball game. So, and that's a very good ball club in Heidelberg. So, we're still right there. When you look at 14-4 in years past, you would be very happy with that. And in our case, we know that we've given some games away that we should have won.
And that was the case, as you said, down in Florida, where a couple of those games you just weren't as focused as you wanted to be.
Yeah, and I thought our focus against Heidelberg was very good. I thought we played, we gave them 3 runs early in the game, and from then on, pretty much did a good job of limiting their opportunities later on. But we can't be spotting them by kicking the baseball around and extending innings against a very good ball club in Heidelberg. As I said, we're going to conference that way. That could make or break our season.
Yeah. Why so many strikeouts, do you think, right now?
I just think the guys are trying to do too much with their swing. I think that they're trying to drive the baseball a little bit too much when might be a singles to doubles hitter, and we're trying to become a home run hitter. We've got to cut those down. We've really been focusing on that part of it. The thing that upsets me more is the strikeout looking. We're putting too much power into the umpire's hand, where we got to foul some pitches off. Even if we disagree with it, we've got to be able to live to see the next pitch. And if it's borderline, we got to be able to make sure we're making a play on that ball. And we're doing some things in practice to work on that. Strikeouts are going to be a part of the game. We're going to strike out, but we want to go down on our own accord, not what the umpire says it is.
The funny thing is, you said that, and you told me that last week right before the Heidelberg game, that don't put it in the umpire's hand. And I don't remember how many were in the Heidelberg game, but there were a few in that game as well. So that's something that you really kind of knew, if you didn't kind of cut down on that, it was going to happen again.
Yeah, and we knew in just one day it wasn't going to get turned around.
Right.
We have to have some more practices and work on those, and honestly see more live at bats. That's where we're working more of those into our practices, and trying to put some incentives out there, in practice about, conditioning and other aspects about cutting those aspects down of our game. And we did something yesterday in practice where we didn't strike out looking once because of what the I hate to use the word punishment, but what the the objective in our practice we were trying to do there to not strike out looking.
We're going to talk with Kendal Baker today. I know he's struggling a little bit at the plate, and he might be one of those guys that's pressing a little bit as a senior. Matt Mathias has really done an excellent job for you. Talk about those two guys and certainly what you're looking for from this point on from both of them.
We have 4 seniors that we rely heavily on the leadership side of things. You've got those 2 gentlemen you spoke of, and then we also have Dorian Holmes and Ian Bach as well for us. And each of them brings a different way they go about things. It's going to really come from that group because this is their last go-round. And I know they want to make this season special, and that's kind of why we're going to have these guys come up here and talk to you a little bit, Matt and Kendal, is because we rely a lot on those. It's not just those 4 of them, but just those 2 as well, too. Matt's been great out of the bullpen for us. He's a spot start guy. He did really well in the Kenyan game. He had 6 strikeouts in a short amount of time. And, Kendal, I know, is going to come around. He's just got to become the hitter that he is and not try to do too much with it. And we got to get him on base because he really sets a table for the back at the top of the order when we're going well.
Yeah, he's like another leadoff hitter for sure. All right, when we come back, we'll talk with Matt and Kendal coming up in a couple of moments. The coach will be back in a little bit as well to talk about Friday's conference opener as the Bluffton Beavers will be in town on Friday. We'll do that coming up in just a couple of moments right here on Strictly Baseball and Radio Troy Digital Sports.
For the past 35 years, Van Vliet Insurance has built a reputation of bringing a personal touch. That's because at Van Vliet, it's all about you, your needs, your life, and our town. Along with providing quality coverage to individuals, families, and local businesses, we're proud of our community and the opportunity we have to protect your future within it. Van Vliet Insurance, an Erie Insurance representative. Hometown professionals at work for you.
Back once again here on Strictly Baseball. Quakers will open up conference play again coming up on Friday against the Bluffton Beavers. We'll have both games right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports. Kendal Baker, senior outfielder for the Quakers, joining us. And they're indoors a lot now because of the rain you guys have had outside. How much does that put a little more pressure on you guys? It can't be the same in here as it is out there on the diamond, getting those cuts and getting a chance to get outdoors.
Well, yeah, when we get outside, we get a little bit more reps. We see the ball travel, but in here we really take it down mechanically in our swing. You're indoors, so it's not as motivational. So when we get outside, you get to open up, let your body breathe, a little bit, but we still get our reps in when we get inside. So
you guys are 14-4 on the season. The Florida trip, you went 3-3. You come back, you play a really good team that I thought you had chances to win in that game as well. Where are you guys at from a player standpoint compared to maybe a year ago when you were 18 games in?
In this time right now, we're still trying to find where we fit in. There's some players that we have a younger team, so everybody's still trying to find their role. And as seniors, we're still trying to lead, but we're still trying to get those players into the roles that they need to be in. So we're still processing. We haven't played our best baseball yet, so that's the good part about it. So we're still working. We're still trusting the process. So
and the good news is, I think most people take 14-4, but what I like about this team's attitude is 14-4 is not good enough.
No, and that's the thing. We know we could have won those 4 games that we lost. We just had some mental, physical errors that set us back. But like I said, we haven't played our best baseball, and that's the scary part about it. So.
Yeah. Kendal, Coach said the thing he was disappointed most about the Florida trip was maybe lack of focus in some players. Talk about that side of it, and did you see maybe at times there was a lack of focus?
There was a lack of mental focus in some points. I myself made a couple mental errors, but I feel like since it was our first game away from Sadler where we were so comfortable and then the other teams were chirping at us back and forth on top of a natural field. So I feel like that's another part that came into those errors.
Yeah. Coach just talked a little bit ago about your importance on this team. And he moved you up to the number 5 hole in the last game. You've been at number 1. You've been down at 8. You've been at 9, so he can kind of move you around a little bit. I know you're probably not where you want to be in the hitting department, but we have seen your potential in the hitting side. We saw it last year in the HCAC tournament. How are you feeling right now about the hitting side of things and what you need to do to maybe take that next step?
Well, I'm not really freaking out too much. I know I trust my swing, so it's really just trusting the process, getting into early work, staying after practice, really getting through that grind. And I've got I know I have the potential of just building up that confidence more and more and being a leader. And that's what I'm focusing on most this year is being that leader for our team.
Do you care where you hit in the lineup? Just as long as you get in? And
Nope. I said if I get in and see the ball coming down there. So that's
Yep.
about it.
Yeah, but the bottom line is even at number 9, you're like a number 2 leadoff hitter.
Right.
So I think it's where Coach likes it the
Right,
most.
and that's the thing. Regardless where I am in the lineup, they know where I'm going to be. I mean, it doesn't really matter. They're going to scout me the same if I'm in the 1, 5, or 9. I'm still going to get the same pitches, I feel like.
Yeah. By the way, before we talk about Friday, anytime you're at the plate, I always notice that third baseman now sneaks in a little bit more. They kind of got you there a little bit, don't they? But you're still able to lay down the bunt many times.
Right. They figured me out a little bit, but like I said, I can still lay it down even if they are 2-3 feet away from me. I just got to do what is best for the team. So that's what it comes down to.
You're defending champions, a little bit different now because now you're going in as everybody wants to get you guys. Is that a little different feeling this time around?
Going into last year, we had a target on our back. Going into this year, we have an even bigger target on our back. But like I said, we stick to EARLHAM baseball. There's no going outside of how we play in this program. So really nothing changes.
Yeah.
So.
Well, here we go, conference season Friday. What do you expect out of the Bluffton Beavers first time around?
They're going to come out with everything they have. I mean, I know they're going to play. They're going to pitch their ace, and they're going to put in the best lineup they can. So we've got to be ready for that. That's what Addison Robertson was saying. Every team is going to come at us 110%, regardless of who we have in the lineup.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to be ready at all times. So
It's going to be fun. Oh, but this time, only 18 games in the conference.
yes.
Does that make a difference this time around where I guess maybe you can't make quite as many mistakes, but you still get another team to get into the conference playoffs?
Right. I mean, it gives us more leadway to get in, but at the same time, we have to play to our potential. Like Coach Sack said, last year was more of a jog. You know, you took it one game at a time in that 3-game series, but now it's a little bit more of a sprint, a little bit more pressure. But if we have the right leaders, like I said, I think we'll be okay.
All right. Kendall, good to see you again, sir.
Thank you.
As always, Kendall Baker joining us here. When we come back, we'll talk with pitcher Matt Mathias coming up next, right here on Strictly Baseball on Radio Troy Digital Sports. Welcome back once again to Strictly Baseball right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports. As we mentioned already, the Quakers open up the conference season coming up on Friday as the Bluffton Beavers will be here in town. Matt Mathias, one of the 4 seniors on the team, joining us here, and we're going to talk some pitching this time. You know, I've watched you this year, and I see a huge difference between this year and last year. What, in your mind, has been the difference in your performance in the 2 seasons from one year to the next?
Well, for me, I over the season or over the summer, put in extra work, got a little stronger, and this year whenever I'm up there, I'm getting ahead of the hitters a lot more now. So now when I'm getting ahead of hitters, I'm able to use my off speed a lot more, and so that's making me more efficient. And so I feel like that's what's helping me a lot more this year than what it has the past year.
Yeah. You do seem to have a little more confidence, don't you?
Yeah. I've gained this, Now noticing that I have my confidence has boosted.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that and from a mindset, that has to be really, really big for a pitcher because you're going up against some pretty good lineups here pretty soon in the HCAC as well. How much of an advantage does that give you as a pitcher to have that confidence? And not saying that it's cockiness, but a confidence to go out there and know you're going to get the job done.
Well, it's confidence is, trusting in me and then also trusting in my defense. Being able to work off my off speed, get a lot of ground balls, and then having my defense on have my back is going to help during with the hitting lineups that we're going to face in our conference.
You bet. Hey, you kind of like you guys had a target on your back a year ago, but this one's a little bit different this time because now you're wearing the ring and they aren't.
Yes.
How do you guys think you'll respond to that starting on Friday?
Well, we are a younger team, and from the get-go, we've been hungry for it. So I know the younger guys, and we've been working our way up for this, and these young guys are ready for it. And now that it's conference time, and we haven't been playing our best baseball yet, and so now that conference time's here, I think it's going to hit us, and we're ready to play some baseball. Kendall
felt the same thing. You really haven't gotten to that point where you're playing your best baseball. Maybe that's not a bad thing if you peak at the right time,
Yeah.
So through 18 games, the hitting was there early. It kind of is tailed off a little bit. I think the pitching's though still been pretty strong, hasn't it?
Yeah, the pitching, it's been doing really well. I'm very impressed with all the pitchers and the staff we've been able to do so far.
Yeah.
And defense, it's there. It'll come. but I trust it'll come whenever it comes to conference time, and hitting the same way.
Yeah. You got a chance to start here recently, too. Talk a little bit about that and the difference between starting, and I know Coach loves you because you're a long reliever. You got that rubber arm. He could probably throw you for 50 innings, and it wouldn't matter to you. What's the difference between the two in your approach to the game?
Well, as a starter, I have that whole entire hour before the game, and then when I'm doing all my running before the game, I'm thinking, all right, what am I going to do in this situation and all this. As a reliever, I'm just in the dugout, I'm having fun, like I'm cheering on my teammates, and then it's like, Matthias, go. And then I just boost out, and I'm not thinking about anything, just getting loose, and then I enter the game, and then it's game time.
Yeah.
And so I kind of like that mentality more. But, like, a starter, I mean, it was a good start for me.
Yeah.
It was a fun experience, too.
Yeah. You, not to saying you're a goof-off kind of guy, but you're kind of a fun-loving guy, aren't you? I mean, you keep things.
I like to have some fun.
Yeah. But that's what you need in the dugout a lot of times, right? Guys just kind of loosen up a little bit.
Keep the energy up.
Yeah. Friday, conference time. Talk about what you expect on Friday. And as I said, again, these teams are going to be gunning for you guys right now. You guys up for the challenge now?
Oh, yeah. We're going to have a target on our back. Bluffton's going to come in here. They're going to want to take over our turf. And I know Walt's going to come in. He's going to shove. He's going to do his best, whatever he can do. Yeah. And then, hitting-wise, do what we can do from there. Defense will pick up, and I think we'll be all right.
All right, Matt Mathias, the rubber arm of the staff, the guy who does just about everything and anything they'd ask you to do. Would you play a field position if they asked you to?
Oh, yes, I miss hitting. I would hit. I would DH if I could.
Have you told Coach that?
Yeah.
What does he say?
No. Hey, maybe senior night, though. You never know. Throw that in there.
We'll get it on the record. Matt, good to see you again, sir.
Yep,
thank you as always. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Matt Mathias will come back and wrap up the show coming up in a couple of moments right here on Strictly Baseball on Radio Troy Digital Sports.
For the past 35 years, Van Vliet Insurance has built a reputation of bringing a personal touch. That's because at Van Vliet, it's all about you, your needs, your life, and our town. Along with providing quality coverage to individuals, families, and local businesses, we're proud of our community and the opportunity we have to protect your future within it. Van Vliet Insurance, an Erie Insurance representative. Hometown professionals at work for you.
Well, Earlham, again, will open up conference play coming up on Friday. We'll have both games right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports. Coach will join us for the final time this week, and then, of course, next week we'll talk about these first conference games. And here we go. Conference time is finally here. I would imagine without the Grace game, you'd love to have had that game now instead of maybe in April just to get you one more contest before you play on Friday.
Yes and no. We'd love to be able to have it before this one, but then also, as you look at it at that point, we would have gone that week Franklin to Anderson with no midweek game.
Right.
So you were going to run into it at some point. And, as many games we played early, it's not bad to rest the body up. And there's things we need to work on. We're going to always have things to work on, as I say that. But we got some things in practice. We want to get ourselves right and, and get back to the type of baseball that we know is winning baseball for us. And, again, you go back to the Heidelberg game, and you're not going to win every game. And that was a game against a good team where we can look back to say a play here, a play there was the reason why we didn't win. But again, we put ourselves in a position in the ninth inning, we had a runner on second base. We had 3-4 in the lineup up with a chance to tie the ball game up. You can't ask for a better spot there.
Yeah, very true. Talk about Bluffton. What do you expect on Friday?
Bluffton's a team that we've never actually seen on the weekend. We've only seen them in the midweek, so we've seen their midweek guys. They're going to be a team that is a little bit younger on the offensive side of things. We know some of their guys arm-wise, but they're going to be very similar to a lot of the teams we've seen this year. They're going to be, aggressive on the mound. They've got maybe a couple guys in the middle lineup that can drive a baseball for us, for them. They're going to play a little bit of small ball when they have to. They're going to run a little bit, but it doesn't matter what they do. If we play our type of baseball, we're going to be where we want to be at the end.
Kind of fun going into this, and again, we think of this in the media more than perhaps you do. You're going in as defending champions, and it kind of, for me, kind of ratchets it up a little bit, doesn't it?
Honestly, that's not even the talk of what we did last year. We're thinking about what we need to do this year, and that's only been the conversations that we've had, and hopefully our kids really believe that last year was great, but this is a new year, and we're fighting for something new this year. And so we've got in our mind that this is game one of setting us up into what we have to do to to get in that conference tournament. Once we get there, I love our shot, but we have to get ahead and get into the conference tournament, and by doing that, you got to take care of the games in front of you in the conference.
Yeah, we'll take care of the hype. You take care of the
you
playing.
go ahead and
Okay.
you do your part. You do a great job with that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Coach, good to see you again, sir.
You as well. Thank
As
you.
always, Steve SAKOSITS. And again, Friday night, we're looking at what do the start times again? 4 and
No, it's a 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock
start, and probably 6:30, 7 o'clock right at that half hour. We give them between the guys, get a little snack in their bellies and get ready to go win another game.
All right. And, of course, we'll have both games, as always, right here in Radio Troy Digital Sports. And we'll see you again next week on Strictly Baseball, right here in Radio Troy Digital Sports.